Hey y'all, this is David, the Georgia photographer. I'm still in Milwaukee. Today we're kind of making our way slowly but surely over to the Harley Davidson Museum. On our way, we went by this old bridge. Check this bridge out. Look, you don't see bent architectural features anymore, riveted in place. Check out all these rivets, hot riveted together. The corrosion is terrifyingly bad. It's a railroad bridge. They made box tube steel sections by riveting 4 plates to 4 pieces of angle iron from the looks of it. Man, I got a few photos of it. I got a cool one of a car doing some motion blur underneath it. We're just heading over to the Harley Museum because we just want to see it. It's a 20-minute walk from the hotel. Stacy's with me again today. I've ran him out. He's over there because he was working on some stuff with his business that he had to sort out. And I was like, if you're gonna be on the phone, go over there. So he's run off. But we're heading on now. I gotta figure out if this is the way to the museum or if it's on down the road. I'll have to check my map. Let's see if you can see this when the car goes by. Look right here. Here they go. You see that? Bridge moves a lot. Getting a good photo from here is almost impossible. That's the Harley Davidson Museum. It's on what appears to be like an island or a peninsula or something. You can see the water goes around it. We had to walk around and come down by this Right Height factory, which is a brand new, sparkling new factory. And amongst all these ancient factory buildings that they've renovated into office spaces and stuff. It's really cool to see them reuse these old buildings instead of just tear them down like they've been doing in Chattanooga. Well, we made it to the Harley Davidson Museum and it's impressive. There's a lot to see here. I'm going to pan some photos through. I'm not going to film the actual museum, capturing a video of me in it, but I'm not filming the actual exhibit. If you get to Milwaukee, you need to come see this. This is pretty impressive. And that's the tour. Have you ever seen the Milwaukee parking garage? They sell everything. Wonder what volt battery that takes. We figured out what the deal is with the parking garage that has the Milwaukee logo on it. Appears that it's their world headquarters. And we finally found the front of the building. So this is where the tools apparently are sold from. Like it's their corporate headquarters or whatever. But yeah, we got to the actual front. It's another giant Milwaukee logo. So wasn't expecting to find that, just to tell you the truth. Is it ironic or funny that our path ever since leaving Harley Davidson has literally been dictated by the presence of shade or not, or shade or not? You be the judge. But we have deliberately been out looking for opportunities to walk in said shade, and that's what led us to the front of the Milwaukee headquarters. Ah, sun, ow, 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 ow. We're almost to the shade. I think we're gonna make it. It's kind of like that game on the internet where they get the little band that comes in and hurts them. There we go, whoo, back in the shade. Hey, we're over here at the St. Kate Hotel. They have this art installation that you can walk in with a tree in the middle of it, held up by rebar. Look at that. Made out of, it's a piece of that gum corrugated drain pipe. Exactly what that is. And it's a three-way coupling for like a city storm drain that has a manhole access too. That's impressive. This thing's enormous. It's over 6 feet in diameter. I'm standing straight up in it, and I still have almost a foot of headroom. Like, this thing's enormous. The cross-sectional area of this will carry bunches of water. Don't know what this building's name is, but it's awesome. They're doing a bunch of maintenance on the facade. It's the one with the clock tower on it. Let's see if I can read the one on the front of the building here, I'll tell you. No, it's something with a Y. City Hall. That's City Hall? Good Lord. Oh, wow. It's huge. Oh, I recognize this building. I remember driving by it right down there now. Okay. And that's all of the video footage I have from the third day. Somehow I failed to record an outro or anything past City Hall. And there was a pretty good bit of walking past City Hall to get back to the hotel. We just made a big loop, but it was down Waterfront Street or Water Street, the city by the road by the river, and then we got down to Chicago Avenue or Chicago Street, whatever it was, and that went right by the Journeyman Hotel where we were staying. But yeah, I don't know why, but the photo of the two people at one point that came through in the collage, they were after City Hall, and there was 2 or 3 photos in there. It's like, how did I miss that? But I did. But yeah, we had a pretty good photo walk, and it was interesting just to wander around the city a little bit and see what you can find. At the end of the day, that's kind of the point. This trip, I took my Leica CL, and I took the 35mm f0.95 TT Artisan lens. That combination has kind of defaulted to my travel kit. I didn't even take a spare lens this time. That was the camera and lens I took, nothing else. And it documented everything I wanted. Was there times when I wanted a wider lens? Yeah. Was there times when I wanted telephoto? Yeah. But they were very few. And it didn't really bother me that much. For some people, it's a deal breaker and they want to zoom. And that's fine. That's their decision and their choice. But for me, the compact nature of that Leica CL crop sensor camera with that 35mm lens on it, and I mean, it's right behind this camera, and it's tiny kit. I mean, it's small. To have a f0.95 lens on it, it's not very big. And it makes for wonderful street and general purpose travel photography. It's equivalent to like a regular camera from days of old with a 50mm. You know, and most people would shoot with that. You could shoot a 35, and I could have, but I prefer the 50. So that's what I took. But yeah, the Harley Museum is really interesting. If you get an opportunity to go to Milwaukee, I highly recommend the Harley Davidson Museum. Even if you're not a motorcycle buff, the history alone is really interesting. Like, they have serial number 1 in there. It's in one of them photos that goes by. It's inside a glass case. There's a bunch of like mystery surrounding that motorcycle. Like, they don't know much about it. There wasn't a lot of documentation at that point, apparently. But they got the motorcycle and they restored it at the factory so that it's like it was when it was new, as best they can tell. But they've got a bunch of them. You can see the date codes are on the front fender of the motorcycles as they're in the display in the photos that went by. And it's neat how they have them chronological down through that first section. And then the second section is like all of the specialty bikes. And then, of course, toward the end, they've got the more modern stuff, and they show you how the new designs are built, and they've got like chassis with engines so you can see how it's made and things like that. It's really neat. And at one point in the video, you may need to rewind it to see it, there's a photo that happens from the end. It shows an exploded view of a motorcycle, and then it fades into one that's far off in another room. That's the same exploded view as viewed from the side. That was the intention of that art piece, was that you would walk by it and glance over and see a motorcycle, but when you went in the room, it's exploded laterally so that it, as it stacks up visually, it looks like a completed bike. I thought that's pretty cool art installation. But yeah, there's a lot of history in there. There was so much historical stuff that I didn't share with you in these photos that it was just incredible. Like I said, it's well worth your time. Takes you about an hour, maybe 2 hours to walk through it. There's so much. Plus, they have a vault above the dealership across the alley that has 300 or 400 more motorcycles in it. And you have an observation deck. You walk down that hall next to all those gas tanks, and there's an observation deck that looks into the vault, and you can see all the bikes stored in the climate controlled vault. I don't know if they like rotate them out periodically or whatever, but it was neat to see that they had so many historical reference bikes. It was neat. Yeah, it was really a neat trip. I was kind of wondering if it was just going to be real sales pitchy, them try to sell you a motorcycle, but they never really did that. They showed you the new ones at the end, but that was as far as it went. There wasn't like a company rep there or anything. Once you left it, you could go to the dealership next door if you wanted, and they had a restaurant, and we went to the restaurant and ate us a lunch, and then went on about our trip. But yeah, it's a really cool place. And the city of Milwaukee in general is cool during the day. I don't really recommend it at night unless you go in groups of probably 5 or more. Seriously, I would not wander those streets alone at night. I saw some really unusual things that I had never seen in Chattanooga. That night I went out and done the photo of the movie marquee and of the market sign. Yeah, I recommend you go in large groups. That way you'll, large groups travel, strengthen numbers, okay? Like I said, it was just really bizarre. So, but with that, I appreciate you watching. If you haven't done it yet, thumbs up, likes, all that jazz. And if you haven't followed the channel and you like my stuff, you know how to do all that. It's down there. There's buttons. Everybody's told you how. You can buy me a cup of coffee. I have a coffee fund. It's in the description. The usual stuff. So, until next time, this is David, the Georgia photographer, and I'm going to tell you to get your camera out and go take a picture with it, all right? We'll see you later. Bye-bye.